Hello everybody, my name is KingStix and welcome to my Fiddlesticks jungle guide for season 7. Starting it off in the jungle, you're always going to want to start your drain and always get a leash from your bot lane on blue buff. If you do start on red side, you can leash blue by yourself. It'll just take a little bit longer and you will use a little bit more mana, but it's not too big of a deal. But ideally, you're going to want to be on blue side and then get a leash from your bot lane. For your starting items on Fiddlesticks, you're always going to pick Hunter's Talisman and the Warding Totem. If it's a safe matchup, you're going to take the refillable potion. If it's a matchup where the enemy jungler is a counter jungler like Lee Sin, Shaco, or Graves, you're going to want to go ahead and take the control ward and lay it on your red buff, so that way they can't take it. And if they are taking it, you can go to their red buff and take it, or you can run to yours and defend. At level 2, you're going to take your Dark Winds and just keep clearing your jungle. At level 3, you're going to take a second point in your drain. Don't bother ganking until you are level 4. Once you're level 4, go ahead and take your fear, and now you can start ganking. In this matchup, I should have started with the control ward since it is versus a Lee Sin. I just forgot and didn't do it. So I end up starting my red buff and he comes after me. After he jumps on me, I position myself so the red buff is attacking him while I'm draining him. He moves around me, I smite it for HP, he smites it for HP. And now we're just dancing around. Whenever someone like Lee Sin or Shaco is fighting you at your buff, they will almost never actually leave. They're just going to troll around and wait. Like, I just saw him lay a ward, so I know he's not going to leave. So I'm trying to push him away and fight him. I have a lot more sustain than him because of my drain. He can't actually fight me in a one-on-one right now since he doesn't have his ultimate. He knows this, that's why he ended up running, and I have about full HP. I'm just waiting for him to keep going in on me so I can start draining him again. I really wanted my Irelia to rotate in and kill him, but Karma hasn't pushed her turret. I know Lee Sin's going to be over here. I just toss my crow, drain, and he's dead. Whenever you use your crow and you're draining somebody, your crow will always prioritize who you're draining. So since it was Lee Sin, I started draining him, so my crow was bouncing off from Krug to him, Krug to him, Krug to him, so he got bounced on like 4 or 5 times. The only way an enemy jungler can 1v1 Fiddlesticks, especially in the early levels, is if that jungler has CC, so like a Vi, or if that jungler brought Ignite, so something like an Evelyn or a Shaco. They can 1v1 you because if they ignite you, you're not getting enough health back and they will kill you. At level 4, I did take my fear just in case a gank presented itself for me. An easy gank would be if an enemy laner was pushed to my laner's turret, or if they were low on health, or if they had no wards, preferably all 3. If they're low on health, push to your turret, and they have no wards, that's an ideal time to gank them. But even if they don't have wards and they're pushed to your turret, it's fine. Ideally, you just want to make sure 2 of the requirements are filled before you do gank on Fiddlesticks. And essentially, you don't really want to gank on Fiddlesticks until you're level 6, like I said, unless it's an easy gank, because once you're level 6, it's pretty much guaranteed. The third method for ganking pre-6 on Fiddlesticks is if your flash is up, just flash fear, Dark Winds, drain. It should be a pretty easy pickup, especially if your teammate does help you kill them. Once you hit level 6, you're going to want to take your ultimate and go use it as soon as you can effectively. You're going to want to make sure you have enough mana to use your fear as well, because if you ult in and if you don't have enough mana for fear, it's pretty much a wasted gank. So if you have to use your ultimate and flash, it's going to be well worth it because it's going to be an almost guaranteed kill. So right here, I just ult, flash, immediately fear because I didn't have enough time to react and we pick up an easy kill. When you ult in on a single target, if you want to get off the most damage possible, ult in on them, keep walking with them while they're feared, and right as they're about to become unfeared, then throw your Dark Winds and then just drain them at that point. Here I was coming in for a gank even though my ult wasn't up. It would have been fine, but I really dashed on Karma before I even left the bush, so it didn't make much sense. Ideally, what would have happened is I would have come out of the bush, feared her towards Irelia, and then we could have killed her or forced her flash. And now since I can't gank that anymore and my ultimate isn't up, I'm just going to keep jungling and try to get my jungle item as soon as I can since it is a lot of damage. After you finish your jungle item and have your tier 1 boots, you're going to want to get your tier 2 boots before you get anything else. 8 out of 10 times you're just going to get boots of lucidity, but for your optional boots, pretty much have sword shoes, mobility boots, or swifties. You're going to get mobies if you're going to do a lot of ganking, get swifties if the enemy team has a lot of slows, and get sorks if you feel like you're just going to need the extra damage. For your core items, you're going to be looking at your runic echoes, your jungle item, then your boots of lucidity. After that, I typically like to get my Rylaias because it's so cheap, and then I get my hourglass. You can get hourglass before Rylaias if the enemy team has a whole lot of burst though. And for your full build on Fiddlesticks, this is really what it should look like for a full build versus a primarily AD and AP team. And for your optional items, this is what it's going to look like. What you're trying to achieve with the Fiddlesticks full build, first and foremost, 40% CDR. Secondly, you're going to want to have at least 1 magic pen item. And thirdly, you're going to want to have 1 defensive item, not including your hourglass. For your summoner spells, 9 times out of 10, you are going to take flash and smite. Flash is just really useful when using Fiddlesticks' ult in his early game flash fear ganks. The other 1 out of 10 times, you can take ghost. It's on a much lower cooldown and you can gank much more often with it. I suggest not taking it if the enemies have a whole lot of dashes though, because it's going to be pretty useless in that case. When ganking bot lane, one of the best spots is just right over the wall. If the enemies are pushed to your turret, you can just ult right over, fear them into the wall, or fear them towards your turret, drop your Dark Crow, and start your drain. It should lead to at least one guaranteed kill, for example if you fear the AD carry, but if you do it right and your teammates follow up, it should lead to a double kill. If you do kill at least one of them, preferably two, you should definitely take the dragon because it'll be pretty easy because no one can really contest you. Here Lee Sin was coming to contest, which was dumb of him since he had no bot lane. It was basically 5v1 there. And since you are maxing your drain, you can easily solo dragon and easily tank without losing any HP. Since dragon is bot lane, I do usually just camp bot because then I can just pick up all the free dragons I want. Even though my ultimate was down, I went mid since Kassadin was pushed and I ended up pushing Moff Zed. He chased me, which was really dumb of him. I just feared drain. He stays in my drain the whole time and we kill him. I could have used my Dark Winds, but since he stood in my drain, there's really no need to. Once you are at least level 9, make sure you get your Oracle Lens. It's going to make it a lot easier to gank. You can just activate and keep going. My ultimate is up, so I just walked past the ward. It disabled it, and I'm ulting. Feared her towards Irelia. Dark Winds, then drained. If you notice, Irelia actually wasted her stun and stunned her while she was feared. So we didn't really use our CC very well since she used hers way too early, but we still did end up getting the kill. Ideally, she wouldn't have stunned her, and it would have made Karma keep walking towards her and towards our turret, but it's all good. We still got it. After that gank, I had the option of helping her push lane and taking the turret, but I really wanted to back and was low on mana, so she just went home. So I just did some of my jungle. I saw Kassadin was an easy gank since he was in the middle of his lane, but he had it warded, so I'm pretty much just gonna have to go back home anyways and shop. Since I do already have my jungle item and Boots of Lucidity, I'm gonna go ahead and just pick up my Rylaias and work out my Hourglass. Now my ganks will be a lot stronger because my ultimate's gonna apply a constant 2-second slow onto the enemies, so they won't be able to get out of it, and it's just gonna be really, really effective. I do have my Rylaias, and even though my ult isn't up, I do have my flash and smite, so I do have quite a bit of slows. I'm just gonna come in, walk around. Preferably I'm gonna fear Caitlyn. We're just gonna blow her up. But Thresh lands is a good lantern on her. I activate my Oracle Lens to see around the wall. Caitlyn flashes. I end up flashing for Caitlyn, fear. We do end up picking up the kill on Caitlyn. So it was overall a really successful game since we did get the kill. If you're going to be using your ult offensively, the best way to do it is wait till the enemy is under their turret with your minions approaching. That way you know they'll still be there under their turret. Just ult in right on them or slightly behind them. Fear, Dark Winds, drain. It should be an easy kill like with what you saw there. If there are multiple enemies there, don't go in unless they're really low on HP or you have teammates to back you up. It's also a good idea to use your Oracle Lens to scout the area before you ult in. That way you don't waste it, because if you ult in and it's warded, right when you're charging your ult, they're just going to run away and you're not going to hit anything. Once again, since my ultimate is down and dragon isn't up, and I don't have flash, I'm pretty much just going to clear my jungle until my ultimate is up or there's an objective ready to take. If you do rush your Rylaias as your third item technically, so after your jungle item and your boots, if you rush Rylaias, you have to be careful from things like assassins because they can still burst you if you are by yourself. If you have your teammates with you, they don't have enough time to burst you, but if you are by yourself, they have an extended period of time to just solo you like with what you saw there. With Fiddlesticks, you have to be particularly cautious when doing objectives like Dragon and Baron. Don't do it if all the enemies are alive and if you're not quite sure where they are, because odds are they're just waiting there to steal it from you. And if you do start it and they come up behind you on Fiddlesticks, you don't have time to charge up your ult, so you can't really win the fight whatsoever. But if you were paying attention, I did miss my smite, which was kind of embarrassing. In the mid and late game, whenever you see a team fight's about to happen, activate your Oracle Lens and walk around to make sure it's not warded. If you can, wait to ult after the fight starts, like you saw them engage on my teammates. Then I ulted in behind them all, which was perfect. They had nowhere to run. I was in on them and I got my ultimate off, and they're basically just screwed at that point. Once you do win the fight, we could choose to take Baron or smash turrets. My team happened to choose to smash turrets, so that's what we did. Even if the enemies are under a turret and you don't have your ult as Fiddlesticks, having a man advantage is good enough, because with Fiddlesticks Fear you can just hold them still and they just can't even fight back. So basically, instead of being 2v5 in this case, it was basically 1v5. Because they can't fight back because I can fear, plus that can basically insta-kill Caitlyn anyways. Here we don't kill Lee Sin, which is unfortunate, but I do just end up running away, so it was all good. This next tip is more of just a general jungler tip. As you can see, 2 of my teammates are dead and they're doing Baron. I don't have ultimate or flash, so I can't really do anything to stop them. I could use the bush and jump in there, But if I do that, I'm most likely going to miss smite anyways, and I'm going to die. Then the enemy team's just going to snowball the game and win it. So I just sit back and wait, and Irelia goes in like a fool and dies. At this point, she's going to rage, but now my ultimate is up, so if the enemies do try to do something aggressive and push, I can stop them anyways. In this situation, why they did Baron, we should have just pushed mid. That way, it would have taken them longer to push their wave up to our turret. If you see another team fight breaking out, make sure you're not the one getting engaged on, because you can really get yourself fucked like that. Make sure your teammates are the ones getting engaged on, and then you ult in. The enemies will use most of their spells, most of their movement spells, flashes, dashes. So once you ult in on them, you have your Riley's is a slow and your ultimate's AoE, so none of them can really get away. Even though we got in there a little late, we traded 2 for 2, which isn't too bad considering that they did have Baron buff. If you can tell there's about to be another team fight, make sure you use your Oracle lens and clear all the wards so that way you can ult freely. Here I see Karma's out of position and she's not really moving. So I'm just going to flash fear, dark winds, drain, and then we're just going to pick up a pretty easy kill. Even though she does flash, we do pick it up. Caitlyn comes out to try to help her. She's out of position. I ult on top of her body as she gets up from her GA. At this point, her team has the choice of letting Caitlyn die or coming to fight. And the fact that Karma's already dead and that they're going to fight for Caitlyn while I'm on my ultimate is a bad choice, and they just lose the game. Just to recap a little bit, you're essentially going to want to power farm until you're level 6 unless your flash is up to gank or it's just a really easy gank in general. Once you are 6, you're going to want to use your ult as soon as you can and as effectively as you can. Don't just go waste it, but definitely you're going to want to go use it because it is that strong. In the late game, make sure you're not the one getting caught out. Make sure you're using your Oracle lens to clear wards so you don't get caught out and so that the enemies can't see you ulting. It's important that you ult 9 times out of 10 once the fight already starts, so that way they'll be caught in your ult and they won't be able to get away from it. If you like this video, go ahead and drop me a like. It really does mean a lot. If you didn't, tell me why you didn't down in the comments below. Any comment suggestions, I really do appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching. Good luck out there on the Rift.